Representative Jim Jordan is not going to cooperate into the investigation into January 6th. So in a letter to the committee chairman, Representative Benny Thompson, Jordan basically talked about how the probe is nothing more than a obsession. It's a Democratic obsession. Well, to be fair, I would be a little obsessed as well. If they tried to completely undermine our system of government and push us into fascism. But hey, that's just me. I guess I'm just suffering from, TDS. Yeah, Trump derangement, January 6th derangement, whatever, right? Just creeping fascism. But all right, sure. Here's what he said, by the way. The American people are tired of Democrats' nonstop investigations and partisan witch hunts. Adding the committee's request, unfortunately, continues this Democratic obsession. This request is far outside the bounds of any legitimate inquiry, violates core constitutional principles, and would serve to further erode legislative norms. All right, so now here's the thing. Now, are the American people sick of investigations? Actually, no. It turns out a majority of the American people actually approve of the January 6th committee and of the investigations. Even a lot of Republicans actually agree with looking into what's going on. That said, okay, if you want to make a point like, okay, but the Democrats are ignoring other priorities, like, for example, COVID testing and inflation, that's a fair criticism. Yes, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Yes, of course. And you can do the messaging. For example, you can start to push for voting rights. I wish the Democrats would do that. Push for things like, more COVID relief, maybe more COVID stimulus during the Omicron, the surge that we're happening. Maybe a push to try to do reconciliation when it comes to the Build Back Better. But hey, all right, that's fair criticism. What's unfair criticism is Jim Jordan going on and saying, I can't believe they're doing a Democrat witch hunt. This is the guy that did Benghazi. We'll talk about that in a minute. So now, the other thing that the committee is looking at is basically they're looking to ask him what he sat down and talked with Donald Trump about that was related, or could be related to January 6th. So now, Jim Jordan says, well, yeah, of course, yeah, I talked to Donald Trump, of course, yeah. But we didn't talk about anything related to the election. Oh, really? Okay, well, look, hey, if you didn't talk about anything, well, then just come in and cooperate. Well, that's it. Let's get your side of the story. Instead, you're like, no, I am not. I refuse. Now, of course, that's probably going to get him brownie points on the right, because for them, it's about, well, if I refuse to testify, if I refuse to work with the committee, well, that just makes my base happy, and then I get more campaign donations. I don't know. But this next quote might be a bit telling. He said that even if he did have pertinent information, he said the panel is just not conducting a fair-minded and objective inquiry. So, I'm just not going to talk to them. Oh, okay. Well, I just don't think it's fair, so I'm just not going to talk to them at all. Great. Imagine if Democrats did that during, another investigation committee, select committee. Like about Benghazi, perhaps? Interesting. Now, does anybody remember that? Remember the 11-hour marathon hearings where Republicans and Jim Jordan were pretty much lobbing everything at Democrats, yes, including Hillary Clinton, to try to tie Obama and her to Benghazi, which, by the way, yes, Benghazi, was that terrible? Of course. Yeah, there was a loss of life during Benghazi. Now, of course, the Obama administration had been cleared of any wrongdoing in that, specific incident. But more people actually died during January 6th. Oh, but no, the January 6th hearing, well, that's a Democrat witch hunt. But Benghazi was totally legit. 100% legit. Oh, yes, yes. There were 33 different hearings over 2 years. You want to talk about a witch hunt? That's a witch hunt. Now, Jim Jordan, of course, supported that witch hunt. And by the way, related to January 6th, okay, here's what Jim Jordan was saying. He was saying, and this was before the election, Democrats are trying to steal the election. Okay? On January 5th, he blamed Trump's loss on voter fraud and warned that 60 million Americans think that the election was stolen. Now, Jim Jordan did talk at a House hearing on January 12th, 2021. So that's 7 days after he said, oh no, there was fraud, the election was stolen because of fraud, and 60 million Americans think that the election was stolen. Yet here's what he said.
And I've never said, as the chairman indicated earlier, I've never said that this election was stolen. What I've said very clearly is half the electorate, both Republicans and Democrats, have concerns, and we call for an investigation.
Mr. Jordan.
You're kind of saying the same thing, buddy. I mean, I'm not saying that it was stolen. I'm just saying that there's all sorts of fraud, and that a lot of people think that the election was stolen, but not me. Even though I have bought into every single conspiracy theory on the election being stolen, including the big lie, like voter fraud and all that. Oh, okay, really? All right. So now let's do some tweets. All right, let's do some tweets. Let's see what he's saying. Democrats are trying to win the election after the election. We can't let them steal it. September 23rd, 2020. Interesting. We can't let the Democrats steal the election. September 25th, 2020. Interesting. Audit the vote. Because obviously you have to audit if it stole the election, right? We tried to warn you. The Democrats knew what they were doing, and they ignored us. November 10th, 2020. This is about the Democrats wanting chaos and confusion. They know that on election day, President Trump is going to win, and they want to keep counting. Because, they want to steal the election. On and on. I mean, look, there's more. There's numerous interviews. One, for example, is the Fox News interview with Maria Bartiromo, in which Jordan says, it's important we get to the bottom of exactly what happened in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, and all these key swing states, addressing Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell's investigation into Dominion voting and Smartmatic software, whom, as we've talked about before, conspiracy theorists claim were used to steal the election for Joe Biden. And that were somehow designed by, what is it, the ghost of Hugo Chavez to steal the elections in Venezuela. And says, that should be allowed to play out. And asks key questions, like why on election night, it seemed like every state that kept counting, President Trump won. But all the states that halted counting for a while, he wound up losing. Why don't Joe Biden and the Democrats want to find out? No, I think it's pretty obvious what he's saying, the subtext of it. He's saying the election was stolen. But I never said the election was stolen. Oh, no. No. And now for some odd reason, Jim Jordan has decided that he just doesn't want to talk to the committee. Very strange. Very strange indeed. Weird. No, I think we know what's going on here. Jim Jordan's a liar. Jim Jordan is projecting onto other people what he himself had been trying to do, which was, along with other Republicans to steal an election for Donald Trump.